The 2011 Kilimanjaro Premium Lager Marathon is proudly brought to you by Kilimanjaro Premium Lager. I would like to light a candle and put it on top of Mt Kilimanjaro to shine beyond our borders, giving hope where there was despair, love where there was hate, and dignity where there was only humiliation. These words of Julius Nyerere, the first president of Tanzania, on the occasion of that country's independence, remain true 50 years later in 2011. Even now, the snow-clad peak of Africa's tallest mountain remains a beautiful landmark that echoes what was said in 1961 by one of Africa's greatest leaders. Today, Kilimanjaro is famous, not only for its iconic beauty, but for the marathon that runs along its base, and which draws runners from all over the world to experience snow on the equator. Precision Air, the official carrier of the marathon, brought in a plane load of excited runners from Johannesburg, eager to set foot on Tanzanian soil and tackle one of Africa's most important road running events. As the aircraft circled the area around Moshi, the mountain was clearly visible on a lovely sunny day. The passengers' Kilimanjaro adventure was about to begin.
On behalf of Precision Air, I'm glad to welcome you to the city of Arusha, Moshi, and the Kilimanjaro area. Precision Air is the official carrier of the Kilimanjaro Marathon.
Precision Air, you are in flight. Welcome to Kilimanjaro.
Moshi is a town of about 150,000 people that lies on the extreme northern end of Tanzania, close to the border with Kenya. It is a regional commercial, agricultural and tourism center. The Kilimanjaro Marathon has become an important focus of sports tourism in recent years, and race registration this year was once again at the Keys Hotel in Moshi. Runners registered for the full marathon, the half marathon, as well as for the Vodacom 5-kilometer fun run. But not everybody had arrived in a comfortable Precision Air aeroplane. One man had run all the way from South Africa on an epic journey that is without parallel.
Where do we sign up for the marathon?
His name is Richard, and his story is the stuff of running legend.
Excellent, ready for the run.
Not many people have the physical or mental strength to embark on a 6,000-kilometer, 6-month odyssey on foot, running through 6 southern African countries. Richard did exactly that, with the summit of Kilimanjaro being his final goal.
May 2010, I set out to run through 5 different countries, from Cape Agulhas to Kilimanjaro, going through South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi and Tanzania. Total distance 6,000 kilometers. There were really 2 reasons for it. The one was to raise money for 3 charities: the Ethembeni School for Blind and Disabled Children in Natal, the Aisha Trust, which is the African Self-Help Association in Gauteng, which builds nursery schools and kindergartens for preschool children of underprivileged communities, and the Kidney Beans Trust, which helps the families of children with kidney disease. The second reason was for me to have a personal adventure, because I've read all the books and I wanted to have one of my own. Although I finished my 6,000 or roughly 6,000 kilometers today, I'm not finished yet. I have a marathon to do, and I've got my brother to join me to go up to the top of the mountain. I have a website which I put together for this. It's called www.richardsrun.co.za. There's a link on the right hand side called Pledges, and there's the bank details of all 3 charities.
Richard took his essential equipment with him and a baby jogger which he pushed the whole way.
In it at the moment is a sleeping bag, a tent, my after hours shoes, very important item, my umbrella, which my mother insisted I take, which I reluctantly took, but it served me well. When I needed fresh water in rainstorms, I used it to catch water. On each side over here, I would carry 2 liters of water on this side, as well as on this side over here. This was my treasure bag. It's got my camera, my Garmin watch, my chargers, everything that was of value was in this bag. Some trauma with my pram. You can see over here, there's duct tape on both sides. One time in Malawi, it snapped off on both sides exactly here, and the whole handlebars dropped, which could have put a serious dent in my run. Amazingly, on the whole trip, 6,000 kilometers, I never had one puncture. The tires at the back I had to change. I thought I might need one, and eventually in Dodoma the one tire split. It didn't have a puncture, but the actual tire itself split. So this is still an original. So it's not as smooth as it looks, and these are the off-road tires which happen to be available in Dodoma of all places. That's my baby jogger, the African Express.
The planning and logistics around getting water to over 4,000 runners on a very hot day on the road are daunting. The sponsors undertook this task, and volunteers spent the day before the race loading thousands of litres of fluid onto trucks, ready to be delivered to water points on race day. Tables and kilometre marker boards were also loaded up. The race sponsor, Kilimanjaro Premium Lager, had also been working hard in anticipation of the big event.
I think this year is hilarious. I think things have worked really well and turned out very nice for the brand and also for the Marathon 2011. We've done quite a good number of experiential activities just to stimulate the Moshi town and also to increase the number of participants. And this was really a spiral thing in connection with bar promotions, which we did about 110 promos in Moshi town for 3 weeks consecutively, about 5 to 6 promos a day. Over and above that, we had campaign on posters and also radio, local radio station, just to stimulate people and create the vibe out of Moshi and Moshi town.
Everything was ready for the big day, the 27th of February, when 4,000 runners would take to the road in a festival of running, friendship and fun. The marathon route started and finished in Moshi and made 2 loops, a short one eastwards and a longer out northwards, and then back home again. Race day dawned clear and bright, and people started to arrive at the Cooperative College Stadium with plenty of time to spare. The first race to get underway was the full marathon over 42.2 kilometers, where a field of over 300 runners lined up, excited about the journey that lay ahead, but nervous and aware that so many things could go wrong on a long race such as this. The trick was to start cautiously and not too fast. Once the gun had fired, it was all systems go as the crowd left the stadium and hit the tarmac for the first time. The race for honours in the 2011 Kilimanjaro Premium Lager Marathon was finally on. Up front, it was pure class as always. East African runners are the best in the world, and the race had excellent representation from Kenyans and Tanzanians. And Kamau and Banuelia Katsigna led the women's race, with Alpha Uruki, Evelyn Ruto and Gladys Chariot close behind. The Keys Hotel water point was at 5 kilometers. And when the leading men arrived, they were in a big bunch and kept the helpers on their toes as they grabbed for the drinks. Some of the men elected not to drink at all, a risky strategy on such a warm day in a marathon. In sharp contrast to the leading men, only 2 women stayed together up front. Kamau and Katsigna looked relaxed, while some way back the chasing group of women had already broken up. Very often in the early stages of marathons, eager runners get out in front, impatient with the pace of the group. Peter Matoa of Kenya adopted this approach today, putting 100 meters between himself and the chasing pack. Usually, the pack works together to reel in the early leader, who does not have the benefit of group pacemaking. Luckily, the DT Dobie pace guard did a fine job of that. Most of these men have run sub-220 marathons before and soon caught Mutua. By the first turn point, he'd been swallowed up. Meanwhile, the 2 female leaders were still running together. Banuelia Katsigna of Tanzania in the black kit and Kenyan Ann Kamau in the red and blue. Alpha Uruki, another Kenyan, was now a little way back in 3rd spot. The route for the half-marathon race over 21.1 kilometers took the runners on a single out-and-back loop northwards towards Mweka College. It was mainly uphill going there and, of course, down coming back. At the start, the very large field was getting ready to go. The fast men and women in front, the slower runners happy to bide their time back in the crowd. By now,